Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, thank you for this award and for the possibility to address such an esteemed audience. I still cannot understand how Belarus has become a dictatorship. There was no putsch, no junta, no sudden coup d'etat. It was just Belarus, a young country in the center of Europe, just finding itself. We had hopes of happiness, success, creativity, and honor for our own country. For me, growing up in the Soviet Union, the feeling of freedom was a blissful discovery. I had an enormous desire to work in this new, free country. I do not know when exactly we started to gradually lose our freedom. Was it when my paper was shut down? Or maybe was it when my colleagues started to get arrested for reporting the news? Or maybe was it when the police searched my house after I had published an article on corruption? Or was it at least when my friends, opponents to Lukashenko, started to disappear one by one? Dictatorships don't like journalists. They either destroy them or buy them out. Several years ago, the Criminal Code of Belarus was amended to prevent reporters from writing anything negative about the president. Hundreds of my colleagues were left without their jobs because Lukashenko's regime destroyed the independent press. Every dictatorship is scared of open debates because it understands it is doomed to lose. And it uses very primitive means to avoid such debates. For them, it is sufficient to close down the papers and to intimidate the journalists. Many of my colleagues started to work in propaganda, and they lost their fight for freedom of speech. Many emigrated, not wanting to waste their life for the fighting with dictatorship, which, as they think, may prove to be eternal. I cannot blame them. I didn't make my choice because of that. Truly, I didn't have a choice. I live in a country where the freedom to choose died long ago with other civil rights and freedoms. I simply want to tell the truth about the abductions and killings of politicians, about beatings of journalists, about sufferings of the political prisoners. I simply cannot forget about my friends in jail, about those whose husbands were killed, about my colleagues, fewer and fewer of whom still remain in Belarus. I want my 2-year-old son, who doesn't yet understand what's going on, not to have a fear for me like all my relatives do. I want to tell the truth of what's going on in Belarus, especially now, when something equally dangerous has entered the world scene. I mean realpolitik. The willingness of the international community, guided by pragmatic reasons such as oil and gas transit routes, to tolerate and overlook the dictatorial regime of Lukashenko. They have a very obscure idea of illusionary stability in the region or playing with Russia. This trend destroys long years of our work and sufferings, all the efforts of the independent reporters like myself who are fighting for the freedom of speech and free media. If this dangerous trend will continue, our voices may be silenced. However, I want to assure you that I shall continue to write truth and to talk openly about the situation in Belarus. If all media venues are shut down to me, I will shout the news to you. Please listen. Thank you.